Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's the founder and CEO of the company Learn and Grow Rich, no other than Mr. Zach Oehlman.
Thanks for having me, Daniel.
Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Zach. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So, born and raised in Indiana, farm kid, and went on to get a degree in finance. Worked at the Chicago Board of Trade for a little bit, and then got a job working for one of the best companies in the world when it comes to mergers and acquisitions and finance. Became a published author, left all that, started my own businesses, and today what we do is we focus on starting, scaling, selling businesses, and reinvesting that money back into real estate for ourselves and our clients.
Mr. Zach Oehlman, thank you so much for sharing your talents to the world. What is the main concept behind Learn and Grow Rich?
The main concept is, we all want this beautiful life and we have a viewpoint of how to get it. But the reality is the only way we're going to get it is if we go pick up a book or learn something, right? We have to learn how to brush our teeth. We got to learn how to tie our shoes. We got to learn, how to feed ourselves. We got to learn how to survive. And, thriving is no difference. There's a learning process. And how do I know? Because, I spent the last 20 years learning it myself. And it's a process, and if people are willing to go through that process, if they want to really look into the basis of what Learn and Grow Rich is, there's this beautiful law called Williams Law, and essentially he states, if you want to become wealthy, go learn. The key is what are you learning, and that's where we help people really focus on what they need to get developed in.
Certainly. Mr. Zach, how does continuous learning contribute to building personal wealth?
So most people don't understand what money is. They think it literally is just some piece of paper. And so what I tell people is, first off, we have to understand what money is. It's an exchange of value. It started with corn and beans and cacao and all of these, what we call commodities. And so the idea is, if you want to make more, you have to become worth more. How do you become worth more? Well, you go pick up a book. Again, you go learn something.
Certainly. We need to learn every day, people. In what ways can growth mindset lead to financial success?
Growth mindset is, if I've seen it. I've seen people, they just sort of give up and they wait for what's coming, or I'm sorry, what is given to them. A growth mindset, it doesn't have to be just around money, but I see an expansion of life. And so people that I choose to work with is they want more than money. If you're just looking for money, I'm not your guy, because it's such a unfulfilling conversation. It's like, what do you want to do with your money? What lifestyle do you want? What's your dream life looks like? And in order to do that, many people can't answer those questions. Again, if we come back to the question, what is, about growth mindset? It's about, what does it look like to have it all? That's what it means to me.
Certainly. What role do habits play in learning and growing rich?
Well, I would say one of the biggest and most valuable thing we have is our time. So I call them currencies: time, money, knowledge, relationships, wisdom, experience. And most people only think of how do they want to invest their money, when the reality is the only way you're going to get more money is if you know how to invest your time. And so habits are how we spend our time. And so, if you're wasting your time and you're not reading good books and you're not talking to good people and you're not focused on your vision and developing yourself, well, those are poor habits, which will ultimately lead to the impact, which is probably poor finances.
How can someone identify which skills are the most valuable for their personal development?
I would say hire a coach that is skilled in all of them, or in finding what your skill set is. And so we do it with our clients. We have this process we actually take people through and help understand their zone of genius. So that way, when we're working with them at executive level, they get to focus on that area. I love working with salespeople because that's, I think, one of the hardest skills to teach. And so if I can get a great salesperson and wrap my business development skills around that, it's much easier for me. And so, yeah, that would be my answer to that one.
Very well said, Mr. Zach. Very well said. What are some effective strategies for lifelong learning?
I would say find something you're passionate about and making sure everything aligns with that. And so something I'm very passionate about is there's three things: traveling the world, helping people, and making money. The making money fulfills on the first two. So I'm committed to giving 20% of what I make by the end of this year in one of my businesses to an organization. So the idea is I get to make money and give back and live a great life and have it all, right? And so that's sort of the lens I look through on that.
How does self-reflection contribute to personal and financial growth?
Self-reflection to me is nothing more than a feedback loop. And so as we learn the direction to walk in to get what we want. And then as we're making this, as we're walking this path, we want to understand, are we heading in the right direction? What's the feedback loop? For example, self-reflection. If you're walking in the hot Arizona stones with no shoes on, some self-reflection might be, I need some shoes, or I'm going to bring some more water next time. Or, those are very obvious, but I use those. But, a more higher, I would say, emotional self-reflection is, how do I not lose my temper? What triggers me? Why did I not accomplish what I said I was going to accomplish? Asking yourself the question. And we got to be careful what questions we ask, because no matter what questions you get, you're going to get an answer to it.
In what ways can learning from failure lead to eventual success?
Learning from failure, I think it all depends on how you define failure. And what I mean by that is, if the end goal is to reach a certain destination and you don't give up, well, technically you never failed. You just got some feedback, right? And I for me, and I know everyone gets to see the world through their lenses, is the only way there is to fail is if you give up. It's like, did I fail at my life, or did I fail at a task within the plan? And so I look at it as, okay, I might have failed at the task and the plan, but I'm still headed in the right direction, and we're winning on all these other things. And so, it's, again, it comes back to feedback loop. Is if it doesn't go the way you think it should go, well, the market's going to tell you something. And then you take it and you adjust. And if you don't adjust, well, I think that's where you could say maybe the failure is as well, if you don't adjust. Because I see plenty of people that don't adjust and they just keep doing the same thing.
So how does the idea of investing in yourself factor into the concept of learning and growing rich?
Well, again, I think back to the context of money, I would say most people don't understand what money is, because if they did, they would realize that it pertains to the value that they bring to the world. What problem are you solving for the world? And most of us, right, we start off very elementary, and we're not taught that. At least I wasn't. And so the bigger problem you can solve, the higher demand the problems are, the more money you're going to get paid. And so I know a lot of very highly educated people that don't get paid a lot because the problems that they can solve, no one's willing to pay them a lot of money for it. And so coming back to learning, you're a product of the solutions you can solve. In order to solve more problems, you need to have more wisdom. You need to have more education. You need to know more. And there's, I think there's this book, it's called 10,000 Hours, or at least that's an idea by a famous author. And, you got to have time in the saddle, right? No one's just going to go out there and strike it rich, maybe by accident, one or two here, but consistently, it's not going to happen. But once you understand the framework of it, everyone could have it.
Anyone can have it, people. So learn and learn and learn. What are the common misconceptions about relationship between education and wealth?
I think people think they can just figure it out. Like, the path is written for us. It's in all these beautiful books of history, and it starts with finance. And so finance is the language of money. And so many people want money, but they're unwilling to learn the language of it. I'm an expert at finance. Spent the last 20 years of my life learning it, and I'm always learning it. And it tells you exactly what you need to know if you know how to look at it and how to listen to it. However, most people don't spend the time because they think it's somewhere else. It's the recipe for making money is sales, and then knowing how to measure the rest. So it's marketing, right? Marketing. I don't care if this is W-2, I don't care, self-employed business. The formula is marketing, sales, operations, and finance. We call it BOSSM. Marketing is letting people know what problem you solve. Sales is telling them why you solve it the best so they buy it from you. Operations is delivering on that promise, and finance is the measurement of everything. If you can understand those frameworks in that context, you can make as much money as you want.
Certainly. How can people apply lessons from Learn and Grow Rich to their daily routines?
I would say everything we create is rooted in the process, or in the foundational idea that you can't do anything without a budget and a plan. And I can prove it to anyone at any time if they think that's a bold statement. If you want to go to dinner, your budget matters, right? You got to create a plan. Am I ordering out? Am I getting something from the fridge? Am I going to a friend's house? It's called thinking, right? But most people don't think or create a plan or a budget for the rest of their life, for a business. And instead of what they do is they just go, quote unquote, go for it because that's what they were told. And just like I was. And then they end up, getting some very valuable lessons.
Mr. Zach, what will be your advice for those people out there who want to succeed in life?
Define success. Most people are using somebody else's definition of success. I'm successful by my terms. What does that mean? It means I'm living the life on my terms. I'm living the life how I want. I'm successful. And it's going to be different for each of us.
And thank you for your advice. What will be your short-term and long-term goals in writing?
Short-term goals. Well, I'll start with long-term because short-term lead it. So long-term is to create businesses that are solely with. Let me rephrase that. Scale businesses with the intention of serving people. What do I mean by that? Eventually, I want to have all my businesses give 20% of what we make to worthy foundations that support children and veterans. And so that's the long-term goal. Short-term goal is, depending on what you look at it, short-term goal is creating those businesses, the systems and the processes and the structures, building the teams, and we all have that. We have all of that in place right now. We have 4 portfolio companies. We have 20 plus clients we're working with on that level to help them scale and make a difference in the world with the profits.
Yes, and I hope in the future you will consider my Book 101 Review Foundation, which is helping less fortunate children all over the world. And good luck to your goals, Mr. Zach. So, what is the importance of setting clear goals when working towards personal growth and financial freedom?
I would say it creates an intention. Everything, we have 5 principles in my company. The first one is intention, and the second one is personal responsibility. If you know where you're going and why you're doing something, and you take personal responsibility for getting there, there's nothing that will stop you. Absolutely nothing. The third one is integrity. Fourth one is dream big, and the fifth one is do the work. And so, if you have an intention, everything you do now has purpose and meaning. And you can ask yourself, does this align with where I'm going? Does this align with my intention? And what you will find is most of us waste time because it doesn't align.
Definitely. What role does discipline play in pursuit of growth and wealth?
Well, it's easy to talk about something, but it's hard to actually go out into the world and do it. And I think that's where discipline comes in, right? Discipline
True.
is, I think, doing some days just doing it, even though you don't want to. I do a lot of things I don't want to do, but I do it because there's this beautiful quote. It says, when we get into this world of real estate, of business, it's like, well, you can do what you want, when you want, how you want. That is a lie. That's an absolute. Whoever says that is an absolute lie, right? And it's misleading. And one of the best quotes I ever heard is, discipline is the beginning of freedom. I run a very disciplined life in my businesses, and in my personal life, I live a very like, I get on my motorcycle and I'll just drive. I have no idea where I'm going. I just point it in direction because my businesses are so planned. Like, we know where we're going, we know how we're getting there, we know the path. It's been thought after and thought through, that it gets, it's fun. But I also love the freedom just to go and be, free to do and be. And that's why I love adventures in my motorcycle.
Certainly, discipline, consistency, and of course, your uniqueness will be the key to your success. How can continuous learning create opportunities for passive income?
Well, I would say, first off, you have to learn how to generate the passive income. What is passive income? How do you get it? Again, learning. If you don't know, the only way to know is to learn. And so it sort of answers itself. And so the question is, how do you create that passive income? Because I'm in the world of finance. I'm in the world of, I've spent a lot of time in the world of coaching. And I will tell you, most people sell pipe dreams, right? Most people sell these pipe dreams of passive income and easy money, and there's no such thing. True passive income doesn't exist, because even if it's quote unquote passive, you still got to monitor it. You still got to check in on it. You still got to, let's say you're investing in dividend stocks, which someone might say is passive. You might invest in the S&P 500. That's probably the closest thing I can think of to is passive. But they're not paying dividends, so it's not really income. And so don't fall into the trap that you can just set it and forget it. You always have to be measuring it against the market. You always got to be reconfirming, is it still a good idea?
Certainly. You need to consider all those things, people. How does emotional intelligence factor into achieving success and wealth?
I read a beautiful quote. It said 85% of your success is based on your emotional intelligence. Intellectual intelligence, what we know as IQ, gets you in the door. Emotional intelligence keeps you there. And as you develop and grow yourself, what you're going to realize is there's only one way to make money. Only one way. And that's by selling something. Mathematically, I can prove it. I've gone through this thought experience. There's no other way to make money other than selling something. In order to sell something, you have to have somebody buying it from you. And in order for them to buy it from you, they have to, as we get up into these larger scales of incomes, they have to know, like, and trust you. What does that mean? Emotional intelligence.
Certainly. And they said that most people having higher emotional intelligence, they are more and more succeed in life. What's What steps can someone take to overcome procrastination and start their growth journey?
I would say procrastination is a product of not having an answer to the problem, right? I would say it's a coping mechanism. And so if you want to destroy procrastination, I'm going to bring it back to everything we focus on. Where are you going? Right? Because if you don't have vision, you're going to procrastinate. If you're not excited, you're going to procrastinate. I stay up late and I get up early because I'm in love with my life and I love what I do. And it took me a long time to get that excitement and that vision that pulled me as opposed to me forcing it. And so, again, to bring it back, I think procrastination is a byproduct of not knowing where you're going or
Certainly.
being afraid. The
Yes.
fear.
Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Zach, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, Food 101, in its fifth season, People Fifth Season, with Chef Alessandro, one of the specialty chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. Please do listen to our latest episode. We are reading our letter senders all over the world. So please do listen, Food 101, wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Zach, how can learn and grow rich principles be applied in both personal and professional contexts?
Obviously, our principles. So if you look at it, it's have intention, personal responsibility, dream big. Intention, personal responsibility, integrity, dream big, and do the work. And so I no longer have a business life and a personal life. I have my life. And I use those principles in everything I do.
Mr. Zach Oehlman, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support Learn and Grow Rich?
Yeah, so we give away all our content on our school, learnandgrowrich.net. You go in there and get everything we got. Our commitment is we don't sell information. Obviously, we do have services if you want to help with that, but all the stuff that we help our businesses scale, we give it away in school.
Yes, people, we salute Mr. Zach Oehlman because being generous to everyone. Thank you so much for empowering the world. So, Mr. Zach, looking forward for more and more and more business to empower the world. So, can you please invite our listener where they can find your Learn and Grow Rich?
It's at learnandgrowrich.net.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Zach. And if you support him, more and more empowering business to come. So, Mr. Zach, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me, Daniel.
More to come, people. See you soon.